We are on a side quest. We still got to finish the Camaro suspension, but step one
seatbelt is unbuckled.
Is done. Back springs or back shocks. Step two is the front struts and springs. I think that's gonna go pretty quick.
Seatbelt is unbuckled.
But I've been promising a buddy of mine a long time I was gonna come pick this car up of his. It doesn't run. Needs a battery for sure. There's something wrong with the starter. When it does run, there's something wrong with the AC system. I think there might be a coil bad on it. And it's a Sentra. So, you know, could be worse. But it is a standard, so that would be cool. And I think it's worth a little bit of money. Like, I don't know exactly how much, but I think it's worth at least $1,000. So if we can figure out a starter for, you know, real cheap, then surely we can make our money back. And then we'll just kind of work on it and see what we can get done with it. Maybe use it as a spare car. Find somebody that needs a inexpensive car for their kid that's about to turn 16. Something. We'll figure something out for it. Anyway, but right now we're gonna go grab my car hauler and we're gonna drag it out to his house and pick up the car and go from there. So let's see. Good morning. It is 8:30 or so in the morning. Our new project is off the trailer. So let me give you the rundown and then we're gonna start working on this thing. The rundown is a buddy of mine bought that new, has driven it for whatever, almost 20 years. And sorry, that was a little squeaky. Anyway, he bought it new. He drove it for a long time. It's 2023. It's now it's a 2003 and now 2024, so it's 21 years old, legal to drink. He drove it up until about, well, the tag on it's been out for 4 years, so 2020 is the last time he had it tagged, so I'm assuming that's the last time he really drove it. He has driven it around a little bit in the yard. It stopped starting with the key. You could jump start it, like if you pushed it, you know, you could drop the clutch on it and fire it off that way. Other than that, it's been sitting for a long time. I'll show you the pictures here. And so he finally said, man, I gotta haul that thing off. It's just sitting in the yard, it's going bad. And I was like, shoot, let me try and fix it. And he was like, he said, all right. I said, well, if you really are gonna haul it to the scrapyard, tell me what they'll give you for it and I'll give you that for it. And he said, okay. So he called scrapyard. He said, they told me they'd give me $250 for it. I said, I'll give you $250 for it. So we finally pulled the trigger, went over there, picked it up, carried it home. So far, since I didn't have a camera running because I didn't think anything was gonna happen, I filled it up with fuel, and then I put some STB fuel cleaning, whatever, a jug of that into it. It took 9 gallons, which means it had, I don't know, 5 gallons, 6 gallons in it. So I put it in premium, put the STP in there, and then the clutch pedal was down. So I got Eli out and had him karate kick it. He's been working on his taekwondo, so he's just in there kicking the mess out of this clutch pedal for, I don't know, 25 minutes, 20 minutes. And I topped the fluid reservoir all the way off and sure enough, she just come back around. So I'm assuming it just kind of gummed up. And then while he was still out there helping me, I said, hey, turn the key to the run position. And I just took a screwdriver. You can see the starter from up above, and I just reached down in there and jumped across the solenoid, and boom, fired right off. So yeah, I've already drove it and everything. So we're gonna get this trailer, carry it back over to my mom's place, drop it off, and then we will be headed back to get this thing in the garage. I think we need to, well, a couple things. One, we need to finish cleaning, because even though I pressure washed it at the shop, it is much cleaner now. It still needs a lot of cleaning. All the door jambs, all the rubber seals need to be cleaned up so that they'll seal good. The heater works good. The electric fans come on. Fluids all seem to be still topped off. So everything's looking pretty solid right now. Definitely has some crunchiness in the drive line. And when I say crunchiness, I mean like shaking the tires. Of course, it's probably literally set in the same spot for at least 6 months or a year. So that might just be the actual tires, you know, it might be whatever. So I'm thinking we get this thing inside the garage where it's a little bit warmer, pop the wheels off, and then just do some inspection, see what we really need to change. I have a strong suspicion we'll have to at a minimum, brake pads and rotors. And then we really need to check a lot of the bushings. I mean, it is 21 years old, not to mention it's set up for a long time. So check bushings, see what we got going there. But yeah, right now I think I'm gonna go drop this trailer, and we'll get back at you here in a little bit. Good morning. So yesterday we got the car in the garage, up on jack stands, and then I didn't do anything else. But today, when I look it over, we can tell we definitely have some sort of leak maybe up here on the top hand of the motor. Maybe it's not bad enough to worry about. That might be a just clean really good and carry on, because she's been sitting in here for a while and still hasn't dripped. So, and I drove it probably long enough. We got a radiator. Smells sweet. That's good. That looks like that's supposed to be full of radiator fluid. It's not. So we'll probably top that off. I'm guessing this is where the windshield washer fluid goes. This is our power steering. It says use Dextrom ATF. It's low, so we can top that off. I already topped the brake fluid off. I didn't top the brake fluid off. I topped the clutch fluid off, which is brake fluid. And then the actual brake fluid, as you can see right there, it's already full. So only fluid left to check is the oil, and it is right at the low spot, but still in there, obviously. So that's probably a quart low, maybe. So I think what we're gonna do this morning is go get oil, get an oil filter, change the oil. I guess we could pop this air breather off real quick. See what it looks like underneath there. Hard to do one-handed. There it goes. Coming up. Oh, that looks super clean. Wouldn't say that's too bad. A couple of bugs in there. Yeah, maybe more than it looks like. Maybe we'll just get one. Tell you what, look, see how much that costs, then we'll decide. So, air filter, oil filter. While the car's up in the air, we can check that stuff. ATF. So I got some ATF laying around here. Alright, so for our in the motor list, we got oil filter, air filter, and the biggie is start with key. That's the reason why this thing was parked. It does not start with the key. I can jump it off with the solenoid, but it will not start with the key. So we have to diagnose that. Maybe it's something simple. Maybe we just got a pop fuse somewhere. Maybe it's a wiring issue. Maybe it's a solenoid issue. I think, though, probably not the solenoid. And my buddy felt like it was actually the tumbler in the key ignition, or something in the something to do with when the key actually turns. He felt like it was that. That's what was holding it back. So that's that. And then our secondary list is going to be tires, obviously. These brake lines don't look cracked out or anything, so that's probably okay. There was definitely a shake to the car. That connection looks really grimy right back here, so we might check that out. But I feel like there's probably maybe something that needs some love and attention up here in the front end somewhere. So we'll do grease points, need tires, and obviously we almost don't need brakes. They got a little bit of a rim to them, but the pads are still nice and thick, fresh pads. So we're gonna hold off on the pads for a little bit. These struts up here look a little rough. He said he has a lowering kit still. I don't know if he took that back off because, he got old enough to not need it, because he's old enough to know better, or he took it off because it wore out. But this stuff looks relatively wore out. So if he took it off just because, he got older and didn't want to low ride your car anymore, we might just throw that on. Bam. Fix the suspension. So we'll say tires. Grease points. tires are not happening right now. Tires, grease points, and look for vibration, front end. All right. I do think we can knock off the first three pretty quick and simple, and the grease points, and then we can start diagnosing the why it won't start with the key. Maybe even just call to the Nissan shop and be like, hey, this is what we got going. And then long term, if we're gonna sell this thing, we obviously get it to that point where it's a good safe driver, possibly brakes depending on how they come around. We might try and pop this dent. I don't know how, maybe. And then we look into clear coat restoration. I think possibly we could just sand that down, hit it with a bit of clear, and then that would just come back right on around. You know, same with right here, same with here. Deep clean for sure. I mean, we got it sprayed down pretty good, but it's nothing yet. Maybe tint, depending on how everything else goes. This is what I'm thinking. This is a $2,000 car if everything works right. It's actually a pretty high spec of a Sentra. Not that I'm a Sentra guy, but it is the Spec-v. It's got the big motor that they had for this thing. It's pretty cool. So maybe there's a market for it. I don't know. But to do so, we will need some aftermarket headlights to make it look nice. We'll have to patch this paint job on the top half. We'll have to repair the trim, that or peel all the flaking black off, you know. And then once we get all that done, new set of tires. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll kind of sell itself, honestly. It's got a 6-speed transmission. That's pretty cool. It's fun to drive. So let's go to the parts store and get us some oil, air filter, fuel, oil filter, and start looking into these grease points. Guess I better make sure I have a grease gun laying around available. I know I do. So yeah, we'll see y'all whenever I get back from the parts shop. All right, let's crawl up underneath this thing and change some Earls. That oil is black. Well, it's barely legible, but it's there. 188, 282, 12, 12, 24. That's what the pros say. Write it down, you know, that way you know. All right, we're gonna put a drain plug back in this thing, and yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing filled back up with some oil and fire off. So this is a 5-quart jug. The internet said this thing only takes 4.2 quarts, so we're gonna pour a pretty good bit and then stop and check. Alright, that's not quite full, but my jug says we might have just a splash more to go in there. Let me go ahead and just give it a little bit more. All right, I think that's close. All right, so the trick to getting this thing to crank is hitting almost. It's just not, because of the way the key works, it primes while it's cranking. So you just have to get enough fuel up to it to fire off. And there it goes. I have a suspicion these turning means that clutch is not quite disengaging, even though it's in neutral. Maybe not. last things to do is I want to top off this power steering fluid, top off the radiator overflow, and I think that's gonna be it for this one. We need to get this thing, do some studying, really is what we need to do. We got to study up, figure out what's going on, why we're not sending power to the starter, or maybe the solenoid's not working right. I have a suspicion that's not it. Seems like we have power down to the solenoid, and you can jump it and it functions. So if I was a betting man, it's probably actually something in the column not doing right, or maybe, you know, might have a fuse popped, I don't know, whatever it may be. But from his description, it had to be something that could fail over time, so the solenoid could fail over time. The key cylinder could fail over time. You know, every time you crank it, it wears it a little bit more. So that's where we're at with that. I think this thing's ready to go down the road right now. Still need tires, obviously. And I want to get this key start situation fixed. Past that, heater's already hot, so that's good. Once we get everything else figured out, get some tires on it, and it's legal to go down the road, then we can figure out like a air conditioning. If it has cold AC, I mean, I feel like it's a $2,000 car all day long. So right now we'll be about $1,000 in on it if we put a set of tires on it. So we don't have a lot to play with, so we have to be very picky and choosy what we do and don't fix. We'll catch y'all next time.